don't have any funny pictures. Oh, we're going live. So
Let's
I guess
do
I
it.
better play the deal. Are we live now? We are live. I
All
better
right. Well,
do.
play the fucking
Don't look
reel.
right now. Stop looking. You can't look.
Look.
And just like that, here we are.
Kaboom,
Welcome.
like magic. I feel like Aladdin. Poof. What do you need? Poof. What do you need? Poof. What do you need?
I'll take your word for it. I've never seen Aladdin.
Oh my God! Stop it.
It ranks.
Hey everybody, I'm Ron here live from Las Vegas, Nevada, and as always, I have
I'm his brother Mike, and I'm in Amarillo, Tejas.
Tejas. And yes, as Mike
The
always
X,
says, yes, we are brothers.
X is silent like the P in swimming. That one always gets people. They just like, what the hell are you talking about?
There's no pee in swimming. Exactly, fucker.
All right. So, did you have a good week?
I had a great week. Lots of things
talking to
going
you.
on, lots of life things happening. And what about yours? How was your week?
Can't complain. And if I did, you'd only pretend you care. So I'll just keep it to myself.
Oh, please tell me
no, I
about
had
it
a pretty
later
good week.
in much more detail.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, shall we just jump into it? I mean, people will join in.
Yeah, let's
I
jump
saw
in,
some-
man. I got some stuff to share. Dude, I have to tell you, love the program. The what you want to talk about. Hope you have a little banner to put up there or something. But yeah,
Oh, yeah,
when you said that, I was like, oh, dude, I got a couple of good ones about that, and I'm sure we'll have some people joining in on this as well. So if you're joining us from anywhere in the U.S., welcome. Glad you're with us. And if you have something to say, please, by all means, jump in. But Mike and I were talking off stage or off screen a little bit about this, and I told him, I'm like, I haven't filled out an application in I can't tell you in decades. I can't tell you how long it's been. And how do they do applications nowadays? Is it online? Do you actually have a paper one you fill out? Do they email you something that you PDF and fill it all out?
Right.
I have no idea.
I have no earthly clue how applications are done anymore. I know I still take, with my business, I still take paper applications. I mean, I've tried using Indeed. Can I tell you this? Indeed just irks me. I'm sorry. They're clearly never going to be a sponsor of ours.
Because they send you a bunch of shit it has nothing to do with what you're looking for.
Oh, that's just what it is. And then they make it sound like, well, we sent you 20 applicants. Well, yeah, but you sent me 20 people and have no fucking clue what I'm looking for.
I'm looking for a cook. You sent me a bunch of people that build nuclear bombs.
Well, here's the other thing about Indeed is
he's back.
They'll when they're he's obviously not in jail. So if that or he's tuning in by YouTube. That's our friend Kenny. Kenny, I have to assume you're in jail because I haven't seen anything from you on Facebook in a while. But Indeed, I don't like hidden, just innuendos. So Indeed, in their ads or anything they send you, they refer to it as when you sponsor an ad. No, you're not sponsoring an ad. I'm paying for it. Why don't you just tell me what the freaking fee is and tell me to stop sponsoring stuff? It just irks me. I'm sorry. That's not where we were going. It ties in a little bit to what we're going to talk about tonight.
No, dude, I get it.
But yeah, Kenny, good to see you there, brother. Matt, you have to drive around and ask an application. Oh,
I mean, seriously, do people still do that? I mean, being honest, I have no idea. Do people still drive around and ask for applications? I remember. I got a funny story to tell you. I told you I had a good one. So back in the day, matter of fact, Matt and I used to work at Taco Bell. I don't know if it was Matt was the same one or was it different ones. I don't remember, but we used to work at Taco Bell when we were very, very young men. And I went and got a job at a place called Fuddruckers. I'm sure anybody from Colorado, or I don't know if you have Fuddruckers in Texas, but we have Fuddruckers here now. But I was working at Fuddruckers, and I remember walking home one day And Fuddruckers was on Academy Boulevard in Colorado Springs, for those of you that don't know. And I'm walking home down Academy Boulevard, right about where what was the name of that restaurant with the big black cow out in front of it? Kind of like Palmer Park area.
Wasn't it like Angus or something? Black Angus?
I don't know. But anyway, I was right about that, right around there. And this car pulls up next to me, and this guy rolls in the window. He goes, hey, man, it's kind of hot to be walking outside. And mind you, I just came from work. So I was a bus boy. So I had a white shirt and a tie on and khaki pants. And he's like, hey, you're kind of hot to be walking outside. Would you like a ride? Where are you going? Black Angus, thank you. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. Why not? I just live right up the street here. So anyway, long story short, this guy was a guy named Mike. I won't mention his last name, so I'm not sure if he's wanted by anybody. But anyway, so he and I become friends, and he gets me a job at the company that he works for, which is a place called Unimart. And I don't know if anybody remembers Unimart in Colorado Springs, but it was one of those where you pay for a membership sales kind of place. And I remember being one of the guys I'd give the tour and the whole 9 yards. And you would win this lithograph, numbered lithograph, and they were fucking garbage. It was like a pencil etching of something. I don't remember what the hell it was. I mean, look at it nowadays. I'm like, what a joke! What a joke that was. But back then it was I enjoyed it. So I had to have been maybe, I don't know, 17, 18 years old, maybe 16, 17, somewhere around there. I don't remember. But that's. And I do remember working at Taco Bell, and the one thing that Taco Bell made me realize was I could never work in a fucking restaurant.
Why?
Oh my God. Food service. Mike, come on, Mike, you worked at the old Mickey D's.
That's how I met my woman. met her over to the Mickey D's.
Hey, Ken, didn't you used to live right behind the Black Angus in those apartments?
Us?
No, Ken. No. I think Ken Hall used to live right behind the Black Angus in those apartments behind there.
And so, yeah, he's already told us, he's in Facebook jail. He's got a parole hearing with Zuckerberg. Who did you watch him get? I don't want to talk politics, but I saw him get owned today in that deal they're doing at the Capitol.
He sent out an apology.
Made him, well, he wasn't going to until he was forced to stand up and turn to everybody that, suffered at his hands to say, I'm sorry. But it's, look, I'm not here to do a talk show today. I'm done with that one. Matt said he did. So I think I was about 15 years old, and I don't know if I've shared this one or not, but my first real job was at a Village Inn restaurant. It was at a Village Inn.
Oh, really? I thought it was the Straw Hat place.
No. It wasn't Soda Straw. Soda Straw came later.
Oh, wow.
But the first real job I got was at and they just built, it's the one that's up on North Academy. It'll be north of Templeton Gap. So that's that Village Inn, but it was brand new. We got to open it up, and I was a bus boy. And but the really funny part of the story is when they called the house, and again, we had the phone on the wall. I answered. I was so excited. I answered the phone, and it was a lady that said, "Yeah, is this Mike?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "Well, this is whatever her name was from Village Inn. I'm just calling to tell you I'm sorry. We're just not able to use you at this time." Oh man, I literally wanted to cry. And then out of in the background, you hear a guy going, no, he's the one we want. And so she's, I'm sorry. Yes, we'd like to offer you a job. And so I thought, okay, yay.
She's all psyched.
So, yeah, I have to tell you, it was a pretty cool gig. I didn't mind it. One of the coolest things that happened there, now I had to go get a new pair of pants and some socks and a white shirt, but one of the coolest things that happened there was a circus across the street at Mall of the Bluffs one day, or 1 week or whatever. And after one of the performances, all the circus people came to Village Inn, and we were just hammered. And so they asked, "Hey, would you mind helping, serve tables?" I said, "Oh God, no." Dude, I have to tell you something. I don't know if those carnies were drunk, stoned, or whatever it was. I walked out of there that night, and I'm not kidding you. I walked out of there with almost $200 in my pocket. And
Yeah,
I just
back
thought
then that was a lot of money.
that was a shitload of money back then. I was ecstatic, man. I thought, I hope I don't get rolled on the way out of here, on the way home.
Oh yeah, Carney.
Oh God, it was awesome. But that was the first real job I had. Soda Straw was pretty cool. Mike Peel and I worked there, and it was kind of cool. If you never went to Soda Straw, of course, it's gone. But
Oh God, been gone.
oh, we did. They
Was
did
it
a
on
thing
like
there
a
called-
Circle and Academy or somewhere around there?
yeah, just up behind. Well, you posted a deal on it. What was the name of the furniture store? Just Weberg's.
Yeah,
I think it was there about yeah. So it was just kind of up in there, and they did a thing called the Firehouse Happy Birthday.
Oh yeah.
And Mike and I actually worked out a routine to where we would, you'd hit the siren and you wore these silly little hats, and one of us would run around the restaurant while the other one stood behind the fountain, the bar, and we had this pre-frozen big bowl of every ice cream we had, and we would literally throw it like a pass, and the other one would catch it. And I remember one night one of us dropped it, and everybody thought, oh my God, the mess. Well, no, all the ice cream was frozen inside the bowl, so dropping it didn't do it. It wasn't actually the thing we were going to serve. It was a prop pretty much. But no, I listen, man, I loved working at Soda Straw. The worst job I've ever had was worked out between Roger Hammermeister
Yes, I know this story well.
and Dad. It was just as I was, trying to break into radio. I think I was still going to Pikes Peak Community College, and Dad felt I needed to get a job, so he worked out a deal with Roger Hammermeister to get me on at whatever the hell it was, as a lumber yard, a lumber store, Handy Dan's or some kind of shit. And so yeah, I go work there. And I remember I'm smoking at the time, and so Roger, in his infinite efforts to help Dad teach me a lesson, puts me on this detail to where I had to load up, and you're going to love this, squares of roofing shingles. And
oh man,
the damn things weigh like 300 pounds.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that's a workout.
So yeah, they put me on that, and we loaded up trucks by hand. I had to band, things with a banding lever deal. Damn stuff. If you weren't wearing gloves, it would cut your fingers off. And so after about the second day, I got real smart and figured out if you'd go upstairs to where like all the insulation and stuff was that they kept stored, you can make a little cubby hole up there and just watch time go by.
Take a nap.
So I'd sit up there and I'd smoke, never thinking about setting shit on fire. I'd sit there, smoke, take a nap. Oh, that's it, Kenny. Yeah, there you go. It was Payless Cashways.
Payless Cashways. Amen.
Yeah.
Oh, so you both had to suffer through that.
I'm telling you, it was the worst damn job I've ever had. And
so I want to tell you,
thank
Mike.
God, KRDO called me like about 2 weeks into this thing and offered me basically a part-time job. I was all over that rascal.
I want to tell you, let's go back to the Soda Straw story, because
how
old were you when you were at Soda Straw? You were like, what, 17, 18 years old, maybe?
Probably about 16.
It was maybe like 11 or so, 10, 11. But I remember it was a big outing for us to go there the night you were working, and you had your little straw hat on, your red and white pinstripe shirt, and you brought out our ice cream and stuff. And back as a kid, I thought, man, my brother is so fucking cool. Dude, I thought that was like the best thing ever, man. I'm just like, dude, look at this guy. He's got it made.
Well, and I tell you what, the other cool thing about Soda Straw is you played with them, when like like these mics, but they had a house mic. And so you got to play with it, hey, happy birthday to whatever.
Yeah.
So that was my first foray into, entertaining the public.
So I'm going to tell you
I'm going to tell you, I love that gig.
My forte of entertaining the public. By the way, I don't know if it's your internet or what, but you're real grainy and choppy. But mine was I was the weekend disc jockey at Skate City next to Doherty High School on Austin Bluffs. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday and Saturday night, I was the disc jockey at night, and Sunday I'd go back in the daytime and do the little kid program and teach little kids how to, do the hula hoop on roller skates and the what the fuck's that one where you go underneath the bar?
Oh, limbo.
Yeah. Teach them how to do the limbo and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was my big cool thing of being in radio. That was my big radio days back then. But dude, I love it, man. You were the cool guy on campus when you were the weekend DJ. And when I moved to Denver, man, I think I was half Jamaican when I lived in Denver because I had like 6 jobs while I was there. I was working at a dealership, at a detail shop, at a dealership, at Mark Toyota Volvo. And then I was on the weekends again, I was DJing at Skate City on ILIF and 225. And then 3 times a week, I get up at 4 a.m. and go throw newspapers for 3 or 4 hours in the morning. So back here. Here's my summary of this. Back in the day, and some people nowadays even, but back in the day, man, I always had 2 or 3 jobs, always. And now, as you get older, hopefully you kind of settle down and you pick one thing you want to do as a career, and that's what you do. But I think it comes back to what we've always talked about, Mike, about work ethic. If it comes down to it where we had to go out and bust our ass and have more than one job, even at our age and in this late in the game, I think either one of us would still do that same thing.
Well, you still do. I mean, I wrote that in that little book. That's one of the things I've always appreciated about you is the fact you always, no matter how good things are going, you always seem to have, a couple of side gigs or something going on. In our house, and I know you got the same thing, but in our house, look, we didn't have a lot of money. I don't know what the neighbors all thought of, the people at 4715 Demeter Circle, but look, didn't have a lot of coin. And I always wondered how the hell did Dad pull off what he did. But what we did know is we understood the value of earning it ourselves. So we didn't expect Mom and Dad. We knew, I think subconsciously, or at least deep down inside, we knew we probably, Dad or Mom couldn't get us what we really wanted. But in order to get it, we'd have to go work for it. And so that's where I'm really thankful for the upbringing that we both had, and that I'm hoping other people went through, is we didn't expect shit to be given to us. In order to get it, we earned it ourselves, because Ronnie and I understood a basic principle, and that was there's great value and a great lesson in sitting back and going, you know what? I earned that myself. I bought that for myself. I earned that for myself. Nobody gave it to me because, just because I said, hey, I have some sort of inalienable right to it. No, if we wanted it, we went out and figured out a way to go get the damn thing. Yeah,
absolutely. Ken, I kind of bring, we were all poor.
Oh, that's not true. There were some people there that were doing better than others.
The lashes were rich.
That's what I just did. Lashes.
But I don't mean to get off the beaten path. I know what we're talking about here, but there's a funny story in Ken of why I asked if you lived in those apartments behind Black Angus. Ken and I hadn't seen each other in a long, long time. I mean, since I was a kid. Now, mind you, for most of you that don't know me, I used to be about this big when I was a younger person, and now I'm, 6'1", 225 sometimes. But back then I was a little scrawny kid when I was younger. So I hadn't
Well,
seen
so
Ken
was
in a
Kenny.
long time. So we kind of fucked around with Chad. And so Ken's like, yeah, Chad's going to be coming over here pretty soon. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I waited out in the parking lot and waited till I saw Chad, walking up, and I was kind of fucking with him out in the parking lot. I'm like, hey man, I heard you were talking shit, man. And he's all, I know what you're talking about. So he goes up to the apartment. I end up showing up. Now, mind you, back in the day, I was, wearing my cowboy boots. So I was like 6'4" in my cowboy boots. And Chad opened the door and was just like, there ain't no fucking way that's you. There ain't no way. So it was funny. It was an ironic thing. That's why I asked if that was the apartments, because I couldn't remember where it was, but I knew it was one of the apartments. Matter of fact, I think Gretchen came over that same night, and I opened the door, and she was still kind of like, there's no way you're little Ronnie Sword that used to live down the street or across the street. But yeah, it was funny.
You said yourself, when I think back to those days, we're all kids. You said it last week. When I think of even Kenny, I have this image of Kenny every once in a while when he's not in jail. He'll post a picture, and I'll there's the guy I know. There's Kenny. I feel the same way about Chad, and bless her heart, Tandy.
I saw a picture of Gretchen recently on Facebook, and I saw Mary Jane. I mean, seriously, that's their mother. And it's like I could see Mary Jane in her face, but same thing. All of that family. I mean, in fact, I was just on a phone call with Matt Hall yesterday, and I still see him, and Chris as little, 9, 10, 11-year-old kids, playing kickball out in the little corner circle there where the Martinez and Bo Honk and their family all live. We play kickball over there. Bo Honk's a little inside joke there. Ken will get it.
Yeah, the Bo Honk.
Yeah.
It just and again, that's going back to as kids. Gretchen, here's a funny thing. I hope. Well, look. When I was about 15, 16 years old, I was over at their house for something. I don't know for Kenny or what it was. And Mrs. Hall and Gretchen we were downstairs, and Mrs. Hall said something about, Mike, you've really, sprouted up. Can you touch the ceiling? And I said, well, yeah. So I reached up and touched the ceiling. For some reason, Gretchen was impressed by it. Now, quietly, I always thought to myself, all right. I impressed Gretchen.
Look at me go.
Yeah, I can touch the ceiling. Apparently, that's enough to, get it on.
Only a lot older.
Yes,
not just you, brother. We're all there. Trust me.
We're all older, kid. So anyway, so let's talk. So we've covered the jobs. The reason why I was asking about, when we were younger and, do you leave during the day? And we've talked about it before, but I don't know why. I just wondered, what's the greatest distance that you covered in a day? Like, how far did you make it before you came back home that maybe mom and dad didn't know about?
Oh, I got one for that. We back in the day, you couldn't buy get off my sisters. Dude, I tried getting on your sister for years. It never worked. I won't mention which one, but yeah,
there's a trampoline story in there I'll share with you sometime too.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of the Martinez's, yeah, remember the trampoline?
Of course. So we couldn't buy fireworks where we were at, so we used to drive up to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and I was probably, again, at this time I was probably like 15 years old. And a buddy of mine who was older, like probably 18, 19 years old, he's like, hey, man, let's go buy some fireworks. I'm like, well, shit, I'm all in for fireworks. Fuck, let's go. Where at? He goes, Cheyenne. I'm like, okay, where's Cheyenne? He's like,
it's right
Wyoming.
There. It's a mountain.
Yeah, I'm like, Wyoming. I'm like, okay, let's go. So we literally left that morning, drove to Cheyenne, Wyoming, which I couldn't even tell you how far it is now, maybe 4 hours, 3-4 hours. And loaded up the trunk of his Plymouth Volare and bolted it back to Colorado Springs. I was back before Dad got home. So that's how far I went.
Wow. I never pulled that one off. I mean, not for what we're talking about. I will tell you, I don't. I know Uncle Ken's looking in, and so I don't want Uncle Ken to know anything bad about me. But this is
Oh yeah,
this
you're
is
a
when I was
fucking saint, Mike.
yeah, this is when I was kind of a bad kid, and I may or may not have. Speaking of carnies, I may or may not have experimented with something called purple microdot, and yeah, I did it twice in my life, and both times I woke up in places I had no earthly clue where I was. One of them happened to be in Wyoming. The other one happened to be over by the Bracken's house, Steve and Bracken and those guys. And we were out next to these rocks having a fight with imaginary people. But to us, they were real, and it was just freaking me. So that's the second time is when I realized I maybe shouldn't do this anymore. So
I call that tequila. Yeah,
with the bearded lady.
Michelle said you took that and then with the bearded lady.
Yeah. So anyway, the story that I really had before I shared my affinity for taking anything. That's something that listen. That's something Mom and Dad actually told me. He said, "You know what, kid? The one thing I never had to worry about you when you were younger." He says, "Look, I knew you played around with shit. I knew you got getting into stuff you shouldn't be." He said, "But you always called to let us know where you were, because Daddy's big rule was never leave Mom worrying."
Amen.
And he said, "But here's the other thing: is you're such a freaking baby. We knew we didn't have to worry about anything involving needles."
Oh, amen. You are a needle pussy. Absolutely.
I'm still kind of that way today. But yeah, it was just funny as hell. He just brought this up.
Shit. If you had to get a shot, Mike, you'd be calling me. They're gonna give me a shot.
We were. I can't remember where we were, but yeah, he was sharing that story. Because we'd always have these conversations, and somehow we got to talking about that. And he said, I never had to worry about you. You'd always call and tell us where you were, or if you needed a ride, we'd come get you. But he said he just started laughing. He said, "Yeah, the one thing we never had to worry about is anything involving needles because you're such a baby." And so I probably said something like, "Dad, what makes you think I'm not now?"
Right.
So yeah, I'm just, look, and I think some of that started after the splenectomy is, so, and except for and by the way, this is the 1 year anniversary of lopping off the tip of the finger. I don't know if you can see that or not, but
nice.
There it is. Nice 45-degree angle on
I
that.
do recall that.
Yeah. So anyway, but the one that I was going to share, because we're getting up against it, was, and I wrote it in the book, so this will sound familiar to you, is, is into skateboarding. They had just built, there was a skate park, can't remember what it was called, but it was for skateboards. And so Steve Bracken, me, and some other guys had decided we're going to skateboard down there. So we skated all the way from Village 7 on our boards, at times skating down Academy Boulevard. And we got all the way down to where Academy is at, what is that, Platt or Highway 24?
Yeah,
so
changes in, yep.
Yeah, so we're down there, and they had just paved the on-ramp from Academy Boulevard down to Highway 24, right? And so we're standing at the top of the on-ramp, and we're all thinking, God, that looks good. It's new pavement. So we took off. We skated down the on-ramp onto Highway 24, went as far up 24 as we could with traffic coming at, behind us, until we finally were able to we had to get off and walk through, median and try to get to the other side. But we skated all the way down to that damn park. And then we had to skate back home. Now that was the hard part, because
uphill sucks.
Village 7's kind of sat up above everything. And but fortunately, like you, I got home before Dad got home.
I think that was everybody's goal.
He would have. And I don't think he would have appreciated the fact that, we did what we did. It's funny now, but, back then it could have killed us. I was like, Uncle Ken.
I'm taking notes. Hey, Uncle Ken, how are you,
Keep
brother?
Talking. If you be drinking.
Well,
I have to tell you something real funny about Uncle Ken.
But I am.
So last Sunday, right? we're watching the games, and I had posted something about Detroit. Somebody forgot to tell Detroit they weren't supposed
You're
to
supposed
win.
to lose. Yeah.
So Uncle Ken, who I tell you what, and I don't mind him knowing, whenever Uncle Ken calls, it's like Dad calling me. So I know damn good well I have to answer the phone and take whatever's coming to me. So Uncle Ken calls me and he says, "Hey, your cousin Amanda and I are trying to record the game. Stop posting stuff about the game." So I said, "Yes, sir. I'll." So if you notice, that's the only post I made about that particular game. I stopped posting.
Who was the one? Was it you the one that posted like, "Let's come on, little kiddies, let's go"?
Yeah. Come on. Well, that's what I call them. I call them the Silver Kitties. I call Jacksonville the Kitties, and I call Detroit the Silver Kitties.
Which
Look,
hill are you
this is
talking
what you
about,
do when
Ken?
you get old. Leave me alone.
Which hill are you talking about, Ken? Are
Yeah.
you talking about Debonair Hill, or are we talking about Academy Hill?
No, the one off Academy down to the Highway 24. It was steep.
Yeah.
And but we were just, and here's the thing, we did it. We weren't on anything. We were just happy to get to the park.
Oh, we were on
But
something. It's called life. You know, it's
we
back
did,
what we used to do. You know, I think Mike said it best. You know, with the book, it's like, let's go outside and throw shit at each other. That was our high. You know, go outside and do some shit. See what we can get into. And my guy that works for me, Dave, he and I always have a saying at work. You know, if I'm not bleeding, I'm not working hard enough. You know, I have to cut myself or nick something or do something to prove I was here and I did what I did. I think that was our mantra back then, man. I have scars and battle scars and fun scars on me that prove that I fucking lived, man. I put color on my canvas, as Mike would say. I put color on my canvas when I was a kid, and I'm still trying to put color on my canvas today.
That's just, that's the idea behind that little book is, to try to get people. I had somebody ask me about that today at the station. It's just to try to get people to loosen up their memories, throw a little color on their canvas, make sure your canvas is filled in before, you get to the end of it. But yeah, back in those days, and the title of the book is "Let's Go Outside and Throw Shit at Each Other." And the subtitle is "Why My Childhood Was Better Than Yours." Because that's what we did. We went outside. And we invented crap. We threw stuff at each other, and we loved every minute of it. So I don't want to give too much of that away. But yeah, it's so those are the two things I wanted to get out this week. And I maybe not our two best ones, but as always, it goes a little bit off script, and that's the beauty of what we do. We just throw the stuff out there, and sometimes it's up to you to change the direction.
Yeah, no, amen. And every week I kind of look forward to the going off the script part that we do.
I love it.
That's the real raw feelings and the real raw emotions and the things that are being drawn from our memories. So those of you that are watching, I mean, whether you want to tell us about your first job experience or filling out an application, or how you had to dress, or just anything along those lines, great. If not, if you have another story to tell us, you can watch this anytime. You don't have to watch it live. Yeah. You can watch the recorded version of it, and post a message, post some responses, because we do get those and we do look at them, and love hearing from you.
Absolutely, I dig what we do every Wednesday. So so there you go. We're at the 33-minute mark. What do you got? Anything?
No, I just, I'm looking forward to growing this. I hope we get some more people coming out. Mike had a good message from YouTube about our videos getting some good numbers and good looks at it. So let's keep that going and get some more people on. I'd love to get some more live people on with us. We can put up to 10 people on this. So Uncle Ken, if you're watching, don't be shy. Amanda, anybody, don't be shy, man. Hop on here, because this isn't just about Mike and I's stories. This is about our lives and our friends and our families. So
I tell you who would be funny would be Uncle Ken. Because remember, Uncle Ken,
he would have some dirt.
Actually, Uncle Ken, when we think about this, and Uncle Ken, if you're watching, I'm going to have to pick your brain because there's things I need to know. But Uncle Ken can take us back to our childhood.
That's what I mean. He'll have some dirt.
Oh man, I'm telling you, He can take us back to.
All right, Mike.
before
Your job, Mike, for next week is to get Uncle Ken live with us next Wednesday.
I'd love to.
When is wife night? Oh,
Any night.
Anytime you want, sweetheart.
We ought to let them host this one night. It could be Carolyn and Michelle.
Yeah, we could
Wouldn't
also
that be
we could also be divorced and single right after that.
That would be funny as hell. All right. Well, listen. I love
All right.
you all.
Well, let's say so. Those are the two challenges. One,
Yes,
get
sir.
Uncle Ken on sometime. Two, we're gonna get it set up to where Carolyn and Michelle host a program. Michelle,
right.
are you down with that? And
I'm
then
sure
we're gonna have the
Carolyn will
dogs.
be. Well, I think that would be hilarious. Let those two at it. That would be. I don't know if that. Oh my God! Now that we
That could be
put that out, I
detrimental.
don't-
You know that, right?
now that I say this out loud, I'm thinking,
listen,
is that a really
listen. Here's how it'll start. Did you know?
good? Yeah. Now that I'm thinking this over, I'm not sure, bro. I've been
They have
ruminating
spent
on
my
this one a little bit.
Foot in my mouth.
God. All right. Well, there you go. Hey, I love you
All right.
guys. See you next week.
All right, guys. Love you. Thank you. God bless. Have a great one.
Right back at